Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to your energy tarot reading here on the Astroflower. As you can well see there to my side, the sun has kicked off again. I want to say the sun has got his hat on. Hip 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 hooray! The sun has got his hat on, and he's coming out to play. And he is coming out to play. The sun is coming out to play, and it's going to be changing the vibrations this week. We will be going into that later on about the changing vibrations. At the moment, it seems pretty good for you, really, in some areas, and very frustrating in others. But we will go into that afterwards. In the meantime, we're going to get a few messages from the Astroflower, which you can see just before us there, and pull a few cards on that. So I hope you have a lovely reading. Let's just see what goes on for you at the moment. Okay, overall energies here. There's something bubbling inside you on the relationship side, and it's really bubbling inside you. I think plays into those elements. I think that's going to change for you though, and as it changes, it releases during the week. It's a case of having a certain control over that release. It could, if you release it in a good way, that sort of bubbling thing that's within you on your relationship side, it could come out really, really well. It could play out in a reinvigoration of the passions, basically. On your financial side, this is like, it seems like you recognize that there's a bit of an Eight of Pentacles scenario going on. It's got to get down to work. There's something, that either you're working on or you're working towards, say like for a job or a business or a project, whatever it is. Even if you've started that business or you've got that job and it's about your career path, I think it's a case here of taking it to the next level, moving on, getting things installed, start implementing things. That's what seems to be, and that could play a little bit on that frustration side, that sort of bubbling inside. Because if it's not going as quickly as you want on the financial side, and there is a little tricky point in it, but I think, as I said, I think as the energy changes this week, looking at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think you should feel a much more optimistic aspect to everything. Yeah, you got the there's something bubbling inside. You get the Ten of Swords. Now the Ten of Swords is it's sort of saying something that's dead, done, and dusted with. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure about that. I think there's adjustments that need to be made, and I think the things that need to be changed or stopped, certainly within your relationship side, I think is not a game ender, but it's a game changer. So any frustrations you might be having, it's good. Communication is key at the moment. Really is key at the moment. And I often say to people in my healing, when I'm doing a lot of healing, when you're talking to people, and it could be a little bit of a tricky sort of conversation to have, take out the judgment words, which is you, I, me. Okay, those are three judgment words. So then you talk about us and we. Once you start doing that and you recognize the problem is the situation and not necessarily the people who are connected to the situation that is the problem. So at least you can see things clearly for what it is. And I think that's what's happening here. On this side, on your financial side, you may have got a little bit complacent. I don't feel that majorly, but there's a sort of like feeling of that, and it's like you got to pick yourself back up, by the bootstraps. And on your financial side, that's a change in attitude. So there may be a change of attitude that's changing in you as well on your financial side. On your relationship side, let's just see what's going on there. This is what you're very good at, Aquarius, is having faith. And in faith in something that can work. Therefore, you will give it the time, the space in order for it to work. And it seems like on your karmic path, it's asking you to do that at the moment. There is a sort of lapsadaisy connection to the outside world. It doesn't feel like you're totally connected here. So it's almost as if like, you're taking hits every now and then, and you don't really see them coming. That's the sort of thing. I wouldn't focus really on longer distance sort of connections. I would focus on the people that are very much around you, that also, are good for you, like you're good for them, and also concentrating on any sort of situations that need to be dealt with, basically. And in the past, is sort of like, and this ties into that, there's a sort of like crumbling aspect to it. So it's like you've gone through the honeymoon period. You've been living with someone, and you might have the honeymoon period, might even last 5 years, and you're going for a 5-year itch. That's the sort of thing that sort of like seems to be prevalent for you when you look at the past and so forth. The future, though, let's see what's happening on the future. The future's bright, but I think you need to be curious about your connection with other people and what makes you happy. I think you need to be a bit curious, and I think you need to push that curiosity. What's the lessons for this week here? You're starting from a good place. So I've seen over the past year and a half, I think year and a half, I think it feels like you've really grown into the Aquarian energy, and really found your place. And this is where, the lessons for this week here is in theory, it's just ironing out a lot of creases in the situation rather than having to rebuild. That's the sort of feeling I get out of it. Yeah, karmic path. Stay with it. Stay true to it. Yeah, I think there is a bit of stress and strain, and I think you do need to go through it, because there's things that need to be adjusted and reconsidered and communicated and discussed about. And on your connection to the universe, look at that. This is a really, really stressful time for you emotionally, possibly. If it's not happening for you, excellent. All I'm saying is that I don't think it's a game ender. That's the thing. And I think you like connecting with people, socializing, being part of the community and stuff like that. And having, the feet taken away from you makes you feel a little bit like that. Okay? From your past, as I said, something was crumbling away, readjusting. And that's what that is. Those 3 cups here that are spent, but there is this 1 cup here that's being filled up. And I think this is like the beginning of the week where we're going into the transition of the energies for the later stages of the week. I think it's sort of like, it's helping you to, it's like when you go out in the garden really for the first time in spring, you notice that actually there's a bit of tidying up to do, there's a bit of pruning to be doing. And I think that's pretty much it. I think you should look at life in your relationship side about, sort of nurturing a garden. Maybe not one of your fortes, but it's like that sort of process there. And yeah, and look at that. Look at that. This is the change around. We're definitely going to pull some cards on according to the elements for you, and it does really concern this section here, I think, because this is the elements that are coming in, the energies that are coming in that are changing things. And in your future self, there is, being curious, and that's that whole sort of out with the old and in with the new. And I think it's out with the old way of doing things rather than, breaking up. And if you got to that stage where you've got to, it's detrimental for you and the other person in order to be in a relationship, then, discussion and communication, and I know it can be incredibly difficult. I've been through it. I know it can be very difficult not to sort of not be hurt and so forth, and that makes us a bit anxious in the conversation. But the more you can be detached about the conversation, the better it's going to be for you in the long run. Really is going to be better for you in the long run. And then you get the 6 of Swords. And this is about sort of saying you've got to understand where you've come from, and you're going on to much, much calmer shores. I want to pull a few cards to clarify this situation. This has got nothing to do with the elements. We will be pulling some cards on the elements later on, but I would like to sort of see what's going on and that sort of connection there. Yeah, you are the magician in this situation. You can really turn on the magic. This is where I'm sort of saying where you've come from. And you're coming from turn on the magic to avoid all this conflict. And it could well be an inner conflict as much as an outwardly conflict as well. And it does breed for a very bright new beginning for you. With the Five of Wands there, if you see this Five of Wands, there's one person here, which is this person here. They're extracting one wand from this Four of Wands, which is an old dimension which is no longer serving you. And you're getting the Ace of Wands that comes out the top, out with something old, in with something new. That's what the death and rebirth is all about. I think that's what's coming up for you. I'm just gonna put them there as a reminder of the situation, because I don't want to get it confused as I pull cards on the elements coming in for you. But I feel it for you at the moment, Aquarius. I really do, because it's not as if like you've made the situation, you've created the situation. It's just appeared, and it's a situation. This is where I sort of say, detach the people that are around you from the situation that you're dealing with. So yeah, you're the magician. You can really do this. You can really do this, Aquarius. Let's just see what's going on your financial side. Now, the karmic path here is presenting like a lifeline. And I'd be a little bit wary of that, Aquarius, because if you don't deal with this situation, if you just close yourself off and put yourself in your work, this situation is not going to change. And you're always going to be coming back to it. And each time you come back to it, it's going to get worse and worse. And I think that's what I talk about pruning. It's got to nip it in the bud. So, as much as on this side here, it is like a lifeline. And yes, I do believe you should be ploughing into it. Yes, but just don't lose sight of the whole work play part of life, But it's on your karmic path to really, follow a beeline to your success. There's a connection to a person. I think it's female. And it's very businesslike. And it could be a bank manager that you're talking to about getting a loan. It could be, talking to someone about a new job. So it could be a new boss or something like that. But I very much get a female sort of person, really, that's sort of playing in there. So there is a definite connection here, which is also tied into the beeline of it all. What's going on in the past? The past is playing into this. There's a real desire to move up a level, to pull yourselves up by the bootstraps and get on and go to do something else. Like something else may have sort of like fizzled out, and it's now, I want to do something else, sort of scenario. On the future self, good opportunity. It depends on how you deal with that and change not change, but re-engage a certain attitude of go get 'em, go get it sort of attitude within you. And also about the choices you make out at the end, the lessons, how you learn how to apply yourself differently to what you've done in the past. There's always two sides to a coin. That's the lesson that comes out of this. So something that may not have worked in the past, if you do something differently, which will show you the other side of the coin, all of a sudden it's going to make life a lot, you're going to get that sort of success. Karmic path, Six of Cups, beeline. It's really, it's a journey that you've already started, obviously, in your career path. And I also think you need to realise how far you've come. If you look back over the last sort of 2 or 3 years, I think you'll be quite, the majority of you will be quite surprised of how, how far you've come and how enjoyable the journey has actually been. And I think you need to remember that. think you need to remember that. On your connection to the outside, well, this is where we have that lady, the business type of lady, a connection to you, and it makes you feel incredibly at one. Like you've got this capacity to follow this beeline of emotion through your career, of sort of allowing your emotions to convert into reality. So having that desire, that heart's desire to getting on and getting the results is going to be really good for you. Something in the past that's obviously I think you enjoy it. And as I say, it may be like, you went for a job and you didn't get that job because it wasn't the right time. You didn't have enough experience. In the meantime, you've gone off, you've got some experience elsewhere, and that sort of job comes back up on the surface. And, because you're approaching it in a different way, because it's tied to that Ten of Swords, because you're approaching it in a different way, you get a completely different result that sits really well for you. Look at this. It's most definitely on your financial side. Yeah, I can understand you. There's a big opportunity in your future here, a big victory. It's like the comeback kid sort of thing. That's the sort of scenario I get from it, especially with the Six of Cups on your karmic path. This comeback kid attitude is going to really do you no ends of good. It's gonna. I feel it's really good for you. I feel it's really good for you. And the Hierophant, there's two sides to every coin. The Hierophant is a learned religious person, which is very much within the Aquarian energy, and you've got this staircase here, and the Hierophant knows the steps that you need to take in order to get towards your goals. That star. And this is the sort of lesson there. And it's maybe here, because he's smiling, it's actually, I think you're going to realize, and I think that's what's going to make you really happy and help you convert your emotions into reality, is he's really, really smiling. Let me just show you that. He's really chuffed to bits. Because he's realizing that actually he doesn't have to do a lot of that physical work anymore to get to the top. He can get there really quite quickly. And I think that's working for you as well. I think you're getting into this space where you can get there quite quickly because you've almost done it already. This is what this comeback kid is all about, scenario. So it looks very good opportunity for you, connected to some sort of lady, by all looks of things. So, keep your eyes open, keep your ears open and your eyes peeled, so you can see what's going on. Let's just have a look and see what's going on with the energies at the moment and what's been going on with the sun. Here we have the sun that we've seen on the energy updates. We were talking a lot about the coronal holes that were coming through. That's still very prevalent at the moment. And we've also got these filament energies. I've got to say that the filament energies have erupted in the direction of the Earth. So that will be increasing the water element, the emotional component within life. And I think you feel that. I really do. I think you feel that because you have that water at your base as well, and it's affecting your fundamentals. But what we can see at the end there is this eruption that's happening here. And we had these just around this section here. There it is there. We had two X flares come off. The first one has already gone through. It didn't do anything to the Earth at all. It wasn't Earth directed. And the second one that's come off, I don't think it's going to hit the Earth at all. I don't think there'll be any real disturbances. But it's coming very close, and it's what we call a side swipe. And in a side swipe, if you imagine that's the Earth, and the energy comes through next to it, you've got this magnetic fields that go between one another like that. And that creates a lot of that static electricity, which is that sort of air energy. And that air energy is the most prominent energy at the moment. Here's a closer look at that X flare there. That energy is the most prominent at the moment. But it is backed up with the Earth and the water energies through the coronal holes and the filament energies. So I think that's the main driving component behind it. Because there's so much air in the Earth system at the moment, you'll notice the subtle differences with the Earth and the water energies within your life, and it could become quite important. There was also on the second eruption here, which you can see, same sunspot. Now, I'm predicting that that sunspot will go off later on tonight, Sunday night, as this video goes out. There it is there, Sunday night. Now, that's going to bring fire into the system, into the Earth system. I would have thought around about sort of between Tuesday and Thursday, which is going to change the energies and which is going to play really well into you for that. What was it over here? It was the death and rebirth, and this is where I think you could possibly turn on the magic, and all of a sudden it's going to blow a lot of the problems away, and a lot of solutions will be found very easily. Let's just have a look at your flower. So we have this flower here. Let me just have a look at that. Hang on a second. Sorry, I just thought I was having a problem with the recording, but I moved the flower across so it's easier for you to see. If we just look at your flower, you've got this fixed air that goes around the top, and you've got this fixed water at the bottom. It's all about the water bearer. It's John the Baptist baptizing, sort of like bringing out of an idea in air and baptizing it through water. That's what the Aquarian sort of sums up, as it were. But if you sort of have a look on your relationship side, look at all this fire you've got mixing with water. Now, water and fire don't really go. And this is where you can be, very religious about things, because you're really examining things in its depth, emotionally, physically, passionately, all of those sort of things. But because this fire is not existing at the moment, I think this is what is causing the problems in this petal, and this petal here. And obviously it plays into the overall energies here. And that's where we're seeing the biggest movement within your life at the moment. And as I said, by Wednesday, I think that will all sort of change. When the fires come back in, it will give you that direction, that passionate direction for you in your relationship, because that's when the magic can get turned on. Communication is key here, and I think this is where it plays out mainly through this section here, which is the mutable water energy from Pisces. And you can see that earth energy that comes in from Capricorn, which also gives you a real direction in the here and now. The other thing we should look at, because we're looking at water, the air, water and earth, is these combinations here, with the Six of Cups and what was on the King of Cups on the on your connection to the universe. And I think this is giving you a clear vision of how you connect your mind and spirit, as it were, your emotions and your mental energies. So that gives you a sort of like an overall energy, which is really good for you. It gives you clear vision about where you're going. But I think that's where it's going to be playing out, very much in the here and now and stuff like that, with situations that are around you. So let's just have a look and see what the messages are. This is why I said I didn't want to confuse things by taking those cards I had earlier on. Let's just put a few cards, see what the messages are coming in from that energy. First, we're going to do that mutable water that comes across there. It's all about lovers. And this is where I sort of said, like, don't forget, it's often the situation, the problem, and not the person. And I think you're going to be reconnecting with someone after a difficult time, because you're seeing the situation for what it is. Yeah, you get the Eight of Swords. It may have been a case of frustration in regards to your love life, that you felt it's stuck, it's in a bit of a rut, that sort of thing, or any relationships you have with you. And, you're working on to get it out of it. And I think the energies are helping you to do that. They're helping you to plant those seeds as you go. With the Magician card, you're using that pentacle that you have within you to turn on the magic, which is going to plant some beautiful seeds for the bright future for you. Let me just have a look what's going on that cardinal earth energy from Capricorn. You get the Knight of Wands. You do have this sort of mutable fire that comes across here, and this is where it could be a little bit frustrating within your financial world of trying to get the passion's going, and it's got to come from you here, Aquarius. You've got to pull it up by your bootstraps, sort of scenario. But you do get on. I think you've got a really good possibility to open up the opportunities here for you. Queen of Pentacles. If you go off on this mission, the energy is going to back you up. Going off on this mission, it's going to make it passionate about life. But it's also going to give you the rewards that are calculable. So you put in you put in $1, you're going to get $2 back, sort of scenario. And I think this feeds into a lot more security, and it brings you out with the Three of Cups, a real celebration of connecting with people around you. And I think that probably plays into that sort of scenario there. So on your financial side, it's most definitely these are the main cards that are sort of running the show, as it were. I think these are the desired desires of where you want to really be and how you want it to be. And this is what you've got to sort of live at the moment in order for you to get the best out of life. And it's good for you to do it, Aquarius. It's good for you to do it. Just got to be very wary of that work and play ethic in regards to your life, and as much as on the relationship side, as much as on your financial side. Just don't bury yourself into work and forget about the situation that is around you. Communication is key. Don't forget, more often than not, it could be just the situation, that's the problem. If you want to know more about what's going on with the energies, do go and see our energy updates. We do them regularly on this channel. It depends on when the sun's really active to when those energy updates come up. But we tend to do an all-round report on the Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. So I will see you there for that. Thanking you very much for being here with us. I hope you get the best out of these readings. I will see you soon. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun. So please do enjoy.